Let's listen to Member for Nyando.
I thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would want to borrow your mind on this. A clear reading of that Article 159 in its entirety, together, Article 152 in its entirety, particularly sub-Article 9, read together with our Standing Order number 66, Honorable Speaker, I do believe that the drafters of these two laws, both the standing orders and the Constitution, envisaged a position of unanimity on a matter. Honorable Speaker, in a situation where there is division, there is a minority view, there is no unanimous decision arrived at, Honorable Speaker, that was not envisaged when this was being written, Honorable Speaker. So how do we as a House proceed, therefore, in the absence of a unanimous decision? Does it therefore subject it once again to members of Parliament to be heard? Because again, you know, on retrospect, Honorable Speaker, it is 150 members against 7.
Take your seat.
150 against 7.
You've made your point. Honorable Okello, you are a seasoned member, and you should appreciate what our standing orders say. The report that has been tabled here is from a committee of 11. 7 have signed and substantiated. 4 have penned a dissenting opinion. From our standing orders, the committee cannot bring to the House 2 reports. It is 1 report with a dissenting opinion. It remains 1 report. 2, there is no provision in the standing orders or in the Constitution that requires that such a report must carry total unanimity. It only talks of majority members of the committee. And that's what is before us, Honorable Okello. So you are trying to borrow my wisdom. I think I've discharged it to you. Yes, Wanjala. Wanjala, what is your point of order? Mention the standing order that you are relying on. That's what every member has been doing.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I know you are biased against me, and I'm not talking. Mr. Speaker,
what is standing order are you relying on?
I don't want to indulge in the issue of what the report is all about. But the standing order 159 that allows this motion to come in. Mr. Speaker, I have been in this House and you have been in this House. This exercise, Mr. Speaker, is very expensive for a member of Parliament to bring this kind of motions, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I watched them on the TV.
Which standing order did you say? 159? It has no relevance to what you are saying whatsoever. So take your seat. Yes, Sunguli. Order, honorable members. Order, honorable Wanjala. You've had your bite erroneously. The standing order you are talking about has absolutely nothing to do with what you are saying. At all, at all. Yes, Sunguli.
Mr. Speaker, I know that you are quite faithful to the... I don't know whether, Mr. Speaker, you can... Mr. Speaker, I know that you are very faithful to the standing orders.
Pardon?
I know you are faithful to the standing orders.
Yes.
And it's not for nothing, because you and I were in the original committee that actually established these standing orders. And you know, Mr. Speaker, that was in the 90s. And don't you think, because you sit in the committee that actually rectifies standing orders, don't you think that it is time we will move that this kind of standing order be amended so that we do not leave the authority of Parliament in the hands of very few people, especially in such a very grave matter?
Thank you, Julius Sunguli. You are a lawyer. You know the law is the law. It's not what it ought to be. And the law as it is now is what I have said. The standing orders belong to this House. If in your wisdom you wish to amend the standing orders, so be it. It is not the Speaker to amend the standing orders. If the House wants to amend standing orders, they are dynamic. As you know, the standing orders that you and I and the late Godana and the late Oboja drafted have been amended several times to where they are today. And you can amend them as you wish. Now let me, honorable members, allow a few members to make comments. Then we go to some other business. I'll start with the Honorable Opiyo Wandayi. Each member has 3 minutes.
The Honorable Speaker.
3 minutes.
Is it? Huh? I thought we agreed 10 minutes.
Majority and minority, I'll give you 5 each. Each member 3 minutes.
Yes, sir. Honorable Speaker, I think we should be a little bit more patient on this matter, Honorable Speaker, because this is a very, very important matter. Honorable Speaker, this is the first time this House, since 2010, is dealing with a motion for the impeachment of a cabinet secretary. It is the first time we are dealing with such a situation, Honorable Speaker. And therefore I want to plead with you that you give us a little bit more time. Honorable Speaker, I want to start from where Honorable Kelo left, very, very quickly. Honorable Speaker, I don't think it was the intention of the framers of our Constitution, 2010, that a decision of this House would be countermanded by a group of 7 people. Honorable Speaker, when we took a vote on this matter last Thursday, a whole 149 members of this House voted overwhelmingly to impeach Cabinet Secretary Wandayi Linturi. It was not the intention, I submit, of the framers of the Constitution when they enacted Article 152, Sub-Article 9, read together with Standing Order 66(7), Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, and I'm sure you know, you can teach us better. There is a danger in this idea of literally interpreting the law. I'm sure you know better than me of the Berryman case of 1946. Honorable Speaker, a purposive interpretation of the law would actually lead us to the conclusion that the decision of that select committee should have been subjected to validation of the whole House. Having said that, Honorable Speaker, there's a higher moral responsibility, Honorable Speaker, on the part of the Cabinet Secretary and indeed on the part of the appointing authority, following the overwhelming decision of this House last Thursday in a vote of 149 against 36. I don't think this matter should have even gone up to the select committee stage. In more decent democracies, the moment this House voted 149 against 36 to send Mr. Linturi home, the decent thing he should have done was to resign. Failure to resign, we would have expected the appointing authority to sack him, Honorable Speaker. Those two have not happened. Honorable Speaker, we are now back here today. We are back here today to continue from where we left last Thursday. Honorable Speaker, I want to persuade my colleague members not to give up, regardless of what the minority of 7 members have decided. Honorable Speaker, against all the available evidence, the minority of 7 members who have decided to let the Cabinet Secretary scot-free, this House must remain firm. This House must remain firm and assert its authority. Honorable Speaker, I dare say that following the vote of last Thursday of 149 against 36, this House will be in its rightful place to resolve not to have any dealings with the Cabinet Secretary Wandayi Linturi. Honorable Speaker, this House has got the sovereign power on behalf of the people of this country to decide not to recognize Wandayi Linturi as a Cabinet Secretary in this government. Honorable Speaker, regardless and despite the resolution of the minority of 7, Honorable Speaker. the minority of 7 have actually brought this house to shame, if I may say so. You have brought the authority of this house into disrepute. They have actually made us become a laughingstock in the eyes of the public. And therefore, to remedy that anomaly, Honorable Speaker, I would be actually right. I would be in order to persuade this House to decline, to refuse to recognize Mithika Linturi as Cabinet Secretary from now going forward, and to continue to urge the appointing authority, who is the President, to take the most logical step and sack this Cabinet Secretary, if only to save this country from the kind of ridicule it has been subjected to. With those preliminary remarks, Honorable Speaker, I reject and I oppose. Thank you.
Order, Honorable Wandayi. There is nothing to reject. You just make your comments. You are not going to vote anything. I now invite Honorable Osoro.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this is a house of debate and procedures. And I dare say, Honorable Speaker, that this is a granary of wisdom, where every profession is actually represented here. We have experienced lawyers of the advocates of the High Court. We have doctors. We have accountants. We have bishops. We also have the wannabe men of cloth. Could be the, I think Honorable Junet qualifies to be a sheikh. So this is a house where people are drawn from different professions and very experienced in different fields. Honorable Speaker, this is also a house, once one debates, must agree that it is a house where the majority will have their way and minority will have their say. When this motion was brought before this House, Honorable Speaker, the majority had their way, as it were then. But the procedures took center stage thereafter. After the majority had their way, the procedures were followed. The minority proposed their names, the majority proposed their names. An ad hoc committee was formed, Honorable Speaker, and they had their own elections, where they elected a chair to chair the ad hoc committee. And the chair of the ad hoc committee, Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Naomi Wako, is a reverend, is a person of great integrity, a person that has served this country in her capacity as a reverend, a person that has served this country as a canon, a person that has served this country as a senator, and a person now is serving this country, Honorable Speaker, as the deputy majority whip, Honorable Speaker. And all the proceedings, Honorable Speaker, were in full glare of the camera. We all watched what was happening. It was basically drama. Everything that we were watching, Honorable Speaker, in the proceedings were actually drama. What we were hearing, Honorable Speaker, is similar to what was actually being shown, or rather presented before, or brought before the matrimonial court the other day. And Honorable Speaker, there is no way a house of competence could have admitted the evidence that was brought. There was nothing watertight as it was being presented, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Wamboka, as much as he tried, of course, in his role as a member of parliament under Article 95 to oversight, Honorable Speaker, he did not manage to raise a strong case, to bring a watertight evidence, to grow his, profile by pushing through a watertight case, Honorable Speaker, to have the Honorable Linturi impeached. So, Honorable Speaker, I support the report by this committee because I believe in them, and as the house of debate, a house that believes in strength, a house that believes in procedures. Honorable Speaker, we proceed. It is done. We are now done with the whole thing, and now we proceed with the other, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much.
Honorable Robert Mbui, 3 minutes. So
thank you, Mr.
condense
Speaker.
your thoughts.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Kenyan farmers were duped into purchasing fake fertilizer through NCPB under the full glare and the watch of the CS for Agriculture. Mr. Speaker, a motion was brought to this House to dismiss that CS, and members of the House voted overwhelmingly to get rid of the CS. Then, Mr. Speaker, a committee of the House was put together to go and confirm the report and the vote of the members of Parliament. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, the members that were put in the committee, 7 of them went and turned the verdict of 149 members of Parliament. And Mr. Speaker, for the record, only 4 members gave a dissenting opinion. And Mr. Speaker, for the record, the Honorable T.J. Kajwang, the Honorable Yusuf Farah, the Honorable Catherine Omanyo, and the Honorable Robert Mbui stood with the Kenyan farmers and said enough is enough and the CS must go. Mr. Speaker, the reality is this, that when we went to that committee, Mr. Speaker, the committee, instead of carrying out investigation as was told by this House, the committee went and turned itself into a Supreme Court of Parliament of Kenya, presided over, Mr. Speaker, by the Lady Justice Naomi Wako. And Mr. Speaker, the rest of us became judges. Mr. Speaker, the question we're asking is this: is the committee of the House supposed to operate like a court, or are we supposed to continue operating like a committee of the House?
Order, Honorable Mbui. Honorable Mbui, I did guide you, and you are a member of the committee. I told you you are quasi-judicial. Rules of evidence apply, limitations on hearsay apply, and everything that pertains to proceedings in a judicial court applies. You are quasi-judicial.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We are quasi-judicial, but we became a court of law. Mr. Speaker, there was one major issue that we noted, that there were key witnesses that, Mr. Speaker, was supposed to have been called. The Constitution anticipates that we call witnesses. The standing orders of this House and even the rules of the committee were allowing us to call members to come and give witness evidence. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, two key witnesses, the PS for Agriculture and the COO of one of the companies that is supposedly mentioned in this fake fertilizer scandal, were actually not called.
Honorable Mbui, as a member of the committee, you are truly being wiser after the event. Honorable John Paul.